perhaps you've always wanted to check them out and just haven't had a chance to make it happen. So with Jean, you might have that chance. This is chorus number 3021.
Thanks, Barb. Can everybody hear me all right? No? Better? Okay. First of all, I'm not an instructor like all these fine people that you've just heard of. I'm a coordinator and organizer. I'm a member of the Academic Programs Committee, and the idea for this course came out of that committee, and I was the person assigned to try to make it happen. I was a little bit like a deer in the headlights at first because I thought, we're going to have a course about museums. And my initial thought was have somebody from each of various museums come in and talk to the class. And I thought, well, that is a big yawner. So this class is modeled really after Carl Van Nieuwkerk's very popular Arlington history class, where we're actually going to go a different place every week. But we're going a little farther than the Arlington history group because we'll be going to locations in Maryland, downtown DC, and down in Lorton. We're going to visit 6 museums on 6 consecutive Thursday afternoons. Time to arrive at each of the museums will be 1:30, and the nominal time for leaving would be 3:30, although we obviously have a little flexibility in that. Each person in the class is responsible for getting himself or herself to the museums. But I will certainly facilitate communication so that perhaps we can, with course participants, form some carpools and stuff. Our visits are going to begin and end on the theme of 100 years of voting rights for women. So our first visit will be to the Belmont Paul Women's Equality National Monument, which is actually on Capitol Hill. And on week 6, at the end, we're going to visit the Workhouse Prison Museum in Lorton, where suffragettes were incarcerated for demonstrating for the right to vote. So I think that's particularly appropriate this year. Our second museum in week 2 will be the Glenstone Art Museum over in Potomac, Maryland. That one in particular, we may find we want to stay a little bit longer. You may have seen the article in yesterday's Post about Glenstone. It's more than just galleries. There's also a lot of art outside, and the landscape there is spectacular, and April should be a really nice time to go. So I'm looking forward to that one. We are also going to go to the National Museum of the U.S. Navy, which is at Navy Yard. And I should note that everybody who registers for the class is going to need to, prior to our first week, fill out a form so that you can go through a security clearance before we go, because that museum is located on Navy base down in northeast, not northeast, but southeast DC. And I'm going to have to get those forms to our host for the day so that we all are clear to just walk in and participate in the guided tour. We're going to also visit then the National Cryptological Museum over in Maryland, which will give us a glimpse into the history and the mission of the National Security Agency. And then our 5th week will be the National Museum of Health and Medicine in Silver Spring, Maryland, which has a spectacular building. I've never been there yet, but I'm looking forward to that one. The mission of that museum is a focus on military and civilian medicine. I should mention that in preparing for this class, I had to research, well, what museums are we going to go to beyond a couple that were mentioned. And there's more than 24 of these little museums, many of them housed inside of federal agencies. So if this course is successful this term, perhaps we'll offer it again and, mix it up a little bit. The course starts Thursday, April the 2nd, and we conclude on Thursday, May the 7th.
Marty Sudam is going to be talking to us today about his terrific tale, Walking with Charlie.